They were TLC's picture-perfect family, but behind the farmhouse doors, the Johnstons are shattering into a million pieces. We have the wedding photos everyone saw, but we also have the secret timeline they tried to bury. Tonight, we aren't just talking about a feud. We are investigating a timeline that doesn't add up. Why was Anna Johnston erased from the family Christmas? Why are reports surfacing of a secret pregnancy, a shotgun wedding, and a $900,000 bribe involving the innocent sister Emma? And why did Emma just publicly betray her mother to side with the outcast? Buckle up, because the story you saw on TV was just the cover-up. This is the truth about the end of the Johnstons, the exile of Anna, and the massive secret that might be costing Trent and Amber nearly $1 million to hide. Before we rip the lid off this investigation and expose the timeline they don't want you to see, I need you to do me a favor. If you want the truth about your favorite reality stars and you are tired of the sanitized version TLC feeds you, hit that like button right now. It helps us get this information out to more people. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications. We are tracking this story day by day, and you do not want to miss the update when that March deadline hits. Now, let's get into it. To understand the magnitude of this collapse, we have to start with the illusion. We have to look at the moment where everything seemed perfect, because that is where the cracks are most visible if you know where to look. We need to go back to November 8th, the royal wedding of Forsyth. It was the moment fans had been waiting for. Liz and Bryce, finally tying the knot. On the surface, this was the redemption arc. Liz, who had faced scrutiny, who had navigated a rocky relationship and young motherhood, was finally getting her fairy tale. The photos were stunning. An intimate gathering of 80 guests, a fall wedding. It was designed to show the world that despite the rumors, despite the drama, the Johnston family was a united front. We saw the photos of Leighton, the flower girl, looking adorable. We saw the new puppy, Banks, joining the family fold. It was branded as the start of a new chapter. A happy chapter. But look closer at the group photos. Look at the body language. We have confirmed that Anna was there. She wasn't banned from the wedding. She was in the photos, smiling, dressed for the occasion. But there was a heaviness in the air that a camera lens couldn't quite filter out. While the focus was on the bride and groom, the dynamic between the parents and the other siblings was stiff. It was performative. This wasn't just a celebration of love. It was a PR event. It was a statement to the haters that said, "Look, we are fine. We are all here." But being present and being a family are two very different things. This wedding was the high watermark. It was the last time the water looked calm before the tsunami hit. Because just under the surface of this joyous November wedding, the family was dealing with a pressure cooker that no amount of wedding cake could fix. We have to talk about the shadow of death that was hanging over the farmhouse. The passing of Trent's mother, Mary Alice. Losing a matriarch changes a family. It shifts the tectonic plates of the household. Trent, usually the joker, the strict but loving dad, was vulnerable. He was grieving. And when the head of the household is in a state of grief, the tolerance for drama drops to zero. The fuse becomes short. This is where we first see the pivot in Emma's role. During this time of loss, watch the footage. Watch the social media clips. Who is there? Who is stepping up? It's Emma. There was that touching video of Emma painting her grandmother's nails. It established her character perfectly for the audience. She is the caregiver. She is the sweet one. She is the unproblematic child who soothes the family's pain. Keep that image in your mind. Emma, the good daughter. Emma, the one who follows the rules. Because that image is the exact reason why the allegations we are about to discuss are so shocking. It is the contrast between Saint Emma and the secret Emma that makes this situation so volatile. So we have the wedding, we have the funeral, the emotional stakes are at an all-time high. And then Christmas comes. And the illusion of perfection doesn't just crack, it shatters. This is the moment the Civil War went public. The family releases their annual Christmas photo. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be quirky. They did a nativity scene theme. There were goats. There were costumes. It was chaos, classic Johnston style. But the fans, the internet sleuths who watch every frame, noticed it immediately. Count the heads. Someone is missing. Anna Johnston was gone. She wasn't in the background. She wasn't hiding behind a goat. She was erased. This wasn't an oversight. You don't accidentally forget one of your children during the family Christmas card shoot. When the questions started flooding the comments, when the outrage began to boil over, we got the excuses. Amber talked about logistical challenges. Trent made jokes about pajamas. They tried to brush it off as a scheduling conflict. But let's be real. We know how this show works. We know how this family works. If they want you there, you are there. Production schedules are set months in advance. This was a statement. This was a public declaration of exile. Anna wasn't just busy, she was removed. And the fan reaction was instant and furious. For years, viewers have felt that Anna gets the short end of the stick, that she is treated differently than the biological children, or differently than the golden child Liz. This photo confirmed everyone's worst fears. It was the visual proof that the family is broken. But while everyone was looking at the empty space where Anna should have been, while everyone was screaming, "Justice for Anna," they were missing the bigger story. They were missing the massive tectonic shift happening with the sister who was standing right there in the center of the frame. We need to talk about Emma, and we need to talk about the narrative that is bubbling up from the underground, the insider reports that paint a picture so different from the TV show that it feels like a different universe. We are entering the realm of the whispered, the theories that the family might be desperate to suppress. This is the deep dive into the secret life of Emma Johnston. For seasons, Emma has been the single one, the funny one, the one who is unlucky in love but rich in spirit. But sources and speculative timelines suggest a different reality. Let's reconstruct a narrative based on the whispers that are terrifying the TLC PR machine. Imagine a world where Emma isn't quite as single as the cameras suggest. We know the Johnston house is a fortress. Cameras everywhere, strict rules, constant surveillance by Amber and Trent. But rebellion is a powerful motivator. There is a theory circulating, a narrative supported by insider whispers, about a relationship kept entirely off the books. Let's call him Michael for the sake of this investigation. A relationship that flourished in the shadows, hidden from the prying eyes of production and the strict oversight of her parents. The room dates, the sneaking around, the adrenaline of a secret romance in a house where privacy is a myth. It's the classic story of the preacher's daughter, or in this case, the reality star's daughter breaking bad. But secrets in a small town and secrets in a famous family have a shelf life. The theory goes that this secret didn't just stay a fun rebellion, it turned into a crisis. Reports and rumors are swirling about a bombshell discovery that rocked the Johnston household to its core, a discovery that makes Anna's behavioral issues look like child's play. We are talking about an alleged pregnancy. Picture the scene: the good daughter, the one who paints Nana's nails, the one who never causes trouble. Walking into the living room to face Trent and Amber, not with a bad grade, not with a dented car, but with a life-altering confession. The shock would be seismic. Trent's rage versus his fear. Amber's face drops as she realizes the perfect family narrative she has curated for a decade is about to go up in flames. This is the nightmare scenario for a brand built on wholesome, controlled family fun. If this timeline is true, the reaction from the parents wouldn't just be emotional. It would be strategic. They are crisis managers. They are producers of their own lives. A scandal like this involving the innocent one contradicts the brand. It creates chaos. So, what happens next? According to the darkest theories circulating on the forums and insider channels, the family went into damage control mode. This brings us to the most explosive part of the investigation: the cover-up. Whispers of a wedding date have surfaced. March 17, 2026. A date far enough in the future to plan, but close enough to raise eyebrows. But a wedding needs a home. And this is where the money comes in. We have heard shocking allegations about a property, a house, valued at nearly $900,000. Now ask yourself, in this economy, for a young woman just starting out, where does a $900,000 house come from? The speculation is rampant that this wasn't just a gift. It was a dowry. It was a golden cage. It was a bribe to keep the peace, to keep the image intact, to ensure that the secret stays within the family walls. The theory suggests that the parents facilitated this massive purchase, this instant stability, to wrap the scandal in a pretty bow. If Emma is settled, if she is a homeowner, if she is married, then the unplanned nature of the pregnancy can be rewritten. It can be spun. It becomes a story of young love and a fast start, rather than a story of rebellion and secrecy. Is the house a gesture of love, or is it hush money? Is it the price tag for maintaining the illusion of the Johnston dynasty? But here is where the story gets even more twisted. We have to look at the contradiction. Because while this secret family narrative is gaining traction in the rumor mill, the official channels are showing us something else. We see photos of Emma with Luca Rennigan. We see reports of coffee dates with Mrs. Bolden. We see a single Emma narrative being pushed hard by the show. So which is it? Is the pregnancy story a leaked script from a future season? Is it a nightmare scenario that haters have concocted? Or is it the truth that they are frantically trying to scrub from the internet by flooding the zone with single Emma content? We are left torn between two realities. The TV reality, where Emma is swiping on dating apps and awkward at parties, and the underground reality, where she is a woman with a secret that is worth almost $1 million. And while Emma is allegedly navigating this secret life, the war at home is turning hot. We have to pivot back to the psychological warfare that is the current state of the Johnston family. The dynamic has shifted from a happy group to a battlefield with two clear sides: the golden child and the black sheep. For a long time, Emma was viewed as Amber's soldier. When Anna was in trouble, Emma was the one nodding along with Mom. When the parents laid down the law, Emma was the enforcer. Fans started to turn on her. They called her a mini Amber. They criticized her for not standing up for her sister. The psychological toll of this role, being the perfect one, the compliant one, has to be exhausting. You can see it in the confessionals. Look at the recent seasons. Look at the eyes of Alex and Emma. They look tired. They look drained. Is Emma manipulating the situation to secure her bag, to get that house, to protect her secret? Or is she a victim of what the internet calls Amber's spell? Is she doing what she has to do to survive in a house where love seems conditional on compliance? But just when we thought we had the teams figured out, Team Parents versus Team Anna, something happened that changed the entire game. The defection. The twist that no one saw coming. It started with a simple social media comment. A fan, frustrated with the treatment of Anna, wrote simply, "Team Anna." In the past, the siblings would ignore this, or they would defend their parents. But this time, Emma replied, one word. Agreed. Let that sink in. Agreed. This is the smoking gun. This is the moment the facade cracked wide open. If Emma, the one who supposedly got the house, the one who stayed close, the one who followed the rules, is publicly siding with the outcast, then the family structure has officially collapsed. It implies that the bribe didn't work, or it implies that the guilt of watching her sister be exiled was too much. And then, the visual confirmation. The photo of Emma and Anna together at Dancing with the Stars. No parents, no Liz, just the two sisters reuniting. It wasn't just a fun night out, it was a political statement. It was a formation of an alliance. The sisters are reuniting against the narrative. So where does this leave us? We are looking at a new world order for the Johnstons. Liz is busy with Banks and Layton, perhaps distancing herself from the drama to focus on her own family unit. Anna is living her best life, vindicated by the fans, finally free from the daily criticism of the farmhouse. And Trent and Amber? They are losing control. The empty nest isn't just empty, it's hostile. But Emma remains the wild card, the center of the mystery. Is she Mrs. Michael with a baby on the way, hiding in a $900,000 fortress? Or is she the new rebel, joining Anna's resistance? The evidence is conflicting, the timelines are blurry, and the silence from the family is deafening. The Johnston family is at a crossroads. We have a March 2026 wedding date looming on the calendar like a ticking clock. We have a massive real estate transaction that raises more questions than answers. And we have a sisterhood that is finally fighting back against the script. Do you think the pregnancy story is the real reason for the chaos? Is Emma finally breaking free from Amber's control? And whose side are you on? Team Parents or Team Anna? We have peeled back the layers of the timeline, the pregnancy rumors, and the Christmas exile. But to truly understand why the Johnston empire is crumbling, we have to follow the money. We have to look at the financial structure that holds this family together. Because when love runs out, contracts are usually what keeps people in the same room. And right now, the math is not adding up. For years, fans have speculated about how the TLC money is distributed. In reality TV, especially with minors involved, the standard practice is for the parents to control the pot. We saw this with the Duggars, we saw this with the Goslins, and now we are seeing the symptoms of financial control playing out in Forsyth. The theory that is gaining the most traction among industry insiders is that the children's compliance is directly tied to their access to their earnings. This brings us back to that $900,000 house deed linked to Emma. In the previous chapter, we asked if it was a bribe. Now let's look at it as a settlement. If Emma is indeed hiding a pregnancy or a marriage that violates the brand's image, she holds all the cards. She has the power to destroy the wholesome narrative that keeps the show on the air. A nearly $1 million property isn't just a gift. In this context, it looks like a payout. It looks like the price of silence. Compare this to Anna. Anna, who has been working full-time, running her own jewelry business, hustling on social media. She bought her own home, yes, but she did it fighting tooth and nail for independence. She didn't get the golden parachute. She got the boot. The disparity in how resources are allocated between the compliant child and the rebellious child is the clearest indicator of the parent's management style. You get paid when you play the part. But let's go deeper into the psychology of Amber Johnston, because you cannot tell the story of the children's trauma without analyzing the architect of their reality. Viewers have long criticized Amber for what they see as narcissistic tendencies. The need for control. The need to be the center of every narrative. Look at the way she handles the children's dating lives. Every boyfriend, every girlfriend, must be filtered through the system of Amber. When Liz brought Bryce home, there was friction, but eventually there was acceptance because they followed the script. They moved out, but they stayed close. They had the baby, but they allowed the cameras in. They fed the content machine. Now look at Anna. Anna has always been the variable Amber couldn't solve. From the spray paint incident years ago to the tension over college, Anna represents a loss of control. And for a personality type that thrives on order and hierarchy, that is unforgivable. The Christmas erasure wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was the final discard phase of a narcissistic cycle. First, you idealize the family unit. Then, you devalue the scapegoat, which we saw for seasons with the constant criticism of Anna's choices. And finally, you discard. You crop them out of the photo. You pretend they don't exist. However, the Team Anna movement suggests that the audience has broken out of the spell. And more dangerously for Trent and Amber, the other siblings are waking up. We mentioned Emma's agreed comment, but let's analyze the silence of the others. Jonah. Jonah has had his own struggles, his own terrifying moments with anxiety and the Delta 8 incident. He was brought back into the fold, moved back home, put under house arrest effectively. He knows the cost of defiance. His silence right now is deafening. Is he watching Anna's exile and fearing he is next? Or is he quietly plotting his own exit? And then there is Alex, the baby of the family, the one who has been shielded the most. But even Alex is growing up. He has a girlfriend. He has eyes on the world outside the farmhouse. When the younger generation sees the older generation getting cut off, it breeds fear, but it also breeds resentment. The civil war we talked about isn't just Anna versus parents. It's the children versus the corporation. Let's circle back to the Michael theory regarding Emma, because the implications of a secret partner are massive for the show's future production. If Emma has a partner who refuses to be filmed, or worse, a partner who Amber and Trent disapprove of, it creates a production nightmare. The show relies on access. It relies on the dating disasters storyline. If Emma is actually happily settled with a man who values privacy, she becomes useless to the current show format. She becomes a character with no arc. Or she becomes a liability. Imagine a season where Emma is pregnant, but the father won't sign a release form. TLC lawyers would be scrambling. They can't tell the story without the key player. This lends even more credibility to the cover-up theory. If they can't film the truth because of legal or personal blockers, they have to invent a new truth. They have to film single Emma going on fake coffee dates to fill the airtime, while the real drama happens off-camera in that expensive new house. It turns the entire show into a scripted sitcom rather than a reality show, and audiences can smell the difference. We also need to talk about the Liz factor in this new dynamic. Liz has always been the measuring stick. Be more like Liz. Liz is doing it right. But being the golden child is a trap of its own. Now that she is a mother to Leighton, the stakes are different. Grandparents have rights, but parents have the final say. If Amber tries to parent Leighton the way she parented her own kids, with high control and strict criticism, Liz is going to hit a wall. We have already seen glimpses of this tension. The subtle comments about how to hold the baby, when to feed the baby. If Liz decides to draw a boundary to protect her daughter from the toxicity that she grew up with, she risks losing her status. She risks becoming the next Anna. This is why the Team Anna comment from Emma is so dangerous. If the sisters unite, Liz might feel safe enough to drop the Golden Child Act and join the resistance. Imagine a season where all three daughters refuse to film with Amber. The show ends. The paycheck ends. The control ends. That is the nightmare keeping Trent and Amber awake at night. It's not just about a Christmas photo, it's about a labor strike. Now, let's look at the evidence of the secret pregnancy from a physical standpoint. Internet sleuths have been analyzing Emma's wardrobe choices over the last 6 months. The shift from fitted outfits to oversized hoodies, the careful placement of objects in front of her midsection in social media posts, the reduction in full-body shots on Instagram. We saw this with Kylie Jenner. We saw this with other reality stars. When the camera angles change, the story changes. There is also the timing of the social media breaks. Both Emma and Anna have had periods of unusual silence. Usually, influencers go silent when they are undergoing a cosmetic procedure or a major life event they want to hide. But for two sisters to go dark around similar times, while rumors of a feud are blazing, it suggests a gag order. It suggests that the production company, or the parents, stepped in and confiscated the phones, or issued a threat. Post one more thing, and you are in breach of contract. This brings us to the legal reality of their lives. These kids are adults. They signed contracts. But contracts can be broken. If the rumors of the March 2026 wedding are true, that date is likely the expiration of a non-disclosure agreement or a non-compete clause. It is common for reality stars to have a blackout period after a big event where they cannot announce it until the season airs. But 2026? That is a long hold. That implies a multi-season arc. It implies that TLC is banking on this drama to carry the show for the next 2 years. They are milking the will she, won't she narrative while the baby is already born and the wedding is already planned. And what about the fans? The comment sections on the official TLC pages are turning. It used to be a mix of support and mild criticism. Now, it is an open revolt. The Justice for Anna hashtag has millions of views on TikTok. Fans are unsubscribing from the parents' accounts and following the kids directly. This shifts the power dynamic. If the kids have the followers, the kids have the leverage. Anna doesn't need the show anymore. She has her own platform. She can sell her jewelry directly to the people who love her. She doesn't need Amber's permission to make a living. This financial independence is the parents' kryptonite. As long as they controlled the checkbook, they controlled the narrative. But Anna broke the chain. And now Emma, with her alleged property assets, might be breaking the chain too. We must also consider the role of Trent in all of this. Often, Amber gets the brunt of the criticism, but Trent is the enforcer. He is the one who backs her up. He is the one who makes the jokes that cut deep. In the recent seasons, Trent has seemed more agitated, less jovial. Is the stress of the secret weighing on him? Or is he realizing that his king of the castle routine doesn't work on adult women who pay their own bills? The friction between Trent and Jonah has always been there, but the friction between Trent and the daughters is a new, darker development. If this March 2026 date is real, it is the singularity. It is the point of no return. If a wedding happens and the parents are not involved, or if they are involved but looking miserable, the audience will know. You cannot fake joy at a wedding. We saw the cracks at Liz's wedding. At a shotgun wedding for a secret relationship, the tension would be nuclear. So, what are we left with? We are left with a tragedy in slow motion, a family that sold their privacy for fame and now finds that the cost is their relationship with each other. The irony is, the show is supposed to be about how love makes a family despite physical differences. Now, it is a show about how money and ego destroy a family, regardless of stature. As we wait for the next leak, the next slip-up on Instagram, or the official announcement, remember this. Reality TV is an editor's medium. They can cut the scenes, they can splice the audio, but they cannot edit the truth forever. The The truth is in the deleted comments. The truth is in the missing Christmas photos. The truth is in the deed to a $900,000 house that shouldn't exist. We are watching the end of an era. The Johnstons as we knew them are gone. What rises from the ashes will either be a family healed by honesty or a group of individuals connected only by a shared IMDb page. Stay vigilant. The story is changing every hour, and we will be here to document every single fracture in the foundation.